Have you ever had a girlfriend you really cared about, but for whatever reason, you just couldn't stay together? You had to split up. And when she first left, it seems like everything was going right for her. She was posting the new guy on Facebook or Instagram, but you were still suffering. It was hard for you to get over it. You tried to reach out to her. She wouldn't answer your calls. You might have found yourself blocked. She might have said there's no chance for me and you getting back together. You need to go on about your life. So eventually you do. You eventually work on yourself, get things better, get into a new relationship because you learn some things from that relationship. You actually end up getting a better looking girl and you end up with a better looking life. However, your ex, for whatever reason, is on the path to destruction. Not just destroying whoever she's dealing with now, but ultimately destroying herself. And now you're thanking God that the relationship is over. Imagine if that girlfriend was Tiffany Haddish and you are the man you are today. What would happen to you? And that's why we're talking about this, because Tiffany Haddish is on her way out. And I'm serious about it. Her life is literally crumbling. Despite the fact that she has, some level of talent and some things going for her, she's also involved in some petty lawsuits all the time, things happening to her, but she's reckless. That's another thing. She has no self-control because at 43 years old, Tiffany Haddish has not had just one DUI. This is her second one in less than 1 year. That's right. And how do we know this? Well, she was pulled over, asleep, behind the wheel of a car and stopped in the middle of Beverly Drive, just north of Dayton Way. And when the police got there, they saw her sleep at the wheel and the car running. But again, Tiffany Haddish is pretty good at making jokes about things, especially when she gets a DUI. She can always come back and say things like this.
Since I've been single, I've been praying to God to send me a man. And in January, he went ahead and sent me 4 in uniform. Yeah, they were the police officers. They were the police. They got good benefits and everything, so I can't even be mad. I did get
And it seems funny, because it is. And I'm glad that she wants to make light of it. But the reality is, this isn't funny. This is a lady who, in my opinion, has never gotten over the fact that she got dumped by Common or Jennifer Hudson. And if we want to know why Common dumped Tiffany Haddish, we can pretty much figure it out. Number one, Tiffany Haddish is a wreck, okay? She's a wreck. She has no self-control, all right? If you can't love yourself enough not to get into your DUI, you damn sure can't respect anybody. Number two, unrealistic and dusty expectations. A lot of people are so stuck on themselves, they believe they should get more than what they're really getting. But number three, no idea of what the other person wants in the relationship because you're too selfish. And that probably does fit the parameters of Tiffany Haddish. And she's not the only one. And that is why, outside of Common, she's showing why she's not compatible for any decent guy. If you were to get with Tiffany Haddish, the thing is here, if they're willing to ruin their life, they're willing to ruin their own life. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I believe this is happening. Because Tiffany Haddish is unhappy. And now I want to talk about this. A lot of women who are working in the industry, a lot of women who have a lot of opportunities, and they've made a lot of money. And anybody who's made a lot of money, let me just tell you this. It feels good for a while. It feels nice to buy things that you want or whatever you want. I mean, I remember the first time I was able to just buy whatever I wanted inside the mall and it didn't hurt me. It did give me a sense of security, but it didn't make me all the way happy, right? It still didn't make me all the way happy. And I would suspect that it wouldn't make you happy. But the reality is that women want to have, functional relationships with their friends and with men. And with Tiffany Haddish, she can't ever do that. Tiffany Haddish doesn't add any value to the relationships that she's in because they always end. And she keeps having problem after problem after problem. So the way that she deals with it is through alcohol, it's consistent drinking, it's things like that. Now let me just say this, because I had somebody close to me that was killed 2 years ago by a drunk driver, Kim the Comet. And people make jokes out of, DUIs. It's a funny thing. But The reality is it's not. And this is the holiday season. I want to use my platform to bring light to this issue wherever you may be in the world, especially in America. Guys, do not get a DUI and ruin your life just because you want to have a few drinks and get behind the wheel. There are so many ways you can avoid a DUI. Firstly, you can always get a designated driver, meaning that you can go out with some friends. One person decides, I don't want to drink, or you can be friends with somebody who doesn't drink. Let that person drink. 2, in Beverly Hills, you can hire a car. That should be very easy to do, right? You're rich, your name is Tiffany Haddish, so you should be able to do that fairly easy. But number 3, you can always have an Uber. That's probably the best thing to do. I like to have some drinks here every now and then. I never drive here, but if I wanted to go back home, even here where the laws are a lot lax, I know not to get behind the wheel. Not only for my safety, but for the other person's safety. Let me get in the car with an Uber so I can be transported to where I need to go. I'm not God. Who am I to get out in the middle of the street and start driving around and possibly ending somebody else's life or hurting myself because, I want to drink and I also want to drive. And again, this is the second time in a year or in a year and a half. And it just goes to show you that she's a lady that doesn't have a whole lot of infrastructure. And it could be for good reason. Maybe she doesn't want it. And that's what I kind of see with some of the ladies in the industry. They start doing very well. You start to kind of figure that nobody can tell them anything. And this is kind of one of the reasons why they start dealing with guys who don't have very much, because then, there's not a lot somebody can tell them. And Tiffany Haddish is on her way to making a lot of serious issues for herself. If you can't handle your liquor, you need to stop drinking it. You need to stop doing it. You need to just leave it alone because you're out here looking dusty and you're making him look so good that he left you. If Common was a lady and Tiffany Haddish was a man, and the man kept getting hit with the DUI arrest, all women will be like, sad music, girl, I'm so glad you got away from him. You see how toxic he is? Girl, he's still having problems. But of course, we know nobody's going to say that about Tiffany Haddish, who continues to have more problems than a goddamn calculus homework assignment. She has a lot of issues too, and a lot of issues that are not solved. She has a lot of issues that, she feels bad about whatever the situation is. She still got dumped, never got over it. And maybe this is the reason why she got dumped. She can't really control herself. And when you can't control yourself, it just looks very bad, not only for just you, but people involved, guys. So, guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shay Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. I appreciate you for all of you. Do subscribe to the bell. We're out.